play basketball.
3,000! History with an exclamation point!
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied. Rockies are champions of baseball.
All right. Well, let's talk about that one, folks. It's going to be a quick episode. It's only going to be audio because this is what we usually do for the first of back-to-backs because of the short shelf life that these games have. So the Knicks last night, after a couple of days off, like they seem to do a lot, an uninspiring effort. You know, that was about as underwhelming a win as you could have, but in the stretch that the Knicks are going through right now, and maybe this is just who they are. I mean, as we build a larger and larger sample, it is still nice to win. You know, now you have 3 wins in a row. Unfortunately, this doesn't really help you in the standings. I think you're still 4th, or maybe you're tied for, I don't know. They're in a bad spot. But they have a chance to obviously build on that with a big divisional or big conference game tonight. But this game was annoying. I had no enjoyment watching this. It was a struggle to watch. Just boring. It was one giant drag the entire night. Garden was just in a lull because of that. Can't really blame them. But the Knicks still managed to pick up a win against the Kings, 103-87, like it's friggin' 2008. And I'm not sure I'm going to dive into much in this one. But I hate to beat the same drum over and over. So I'm just going to do it anyway, because as long as this remains a problem, and it is a problem, we're going to talk about it. And that is that this starting lineup remains the one big issue with this team, no matter the head coach. You know, this starting rotation that consists of Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Towns, and Hart makes no sense. And we have 2 seasons of data to tell us, which we'll get into in a bit. But just by watching the games as a basketball fan who pays attention very closely to what's going on, not just on the ball, but outside the ball, it's a starting lineup that makes no sense because Cat in this lineup is still at the 5 defensively, all while Hart is at the 5 on offense. It doesn't make any sense. Playing these 2 together without Mitch doesn't make sense. It takes away everything Cat is here for and then some. And for multiple reasons that we continue to read off every single game. But you saw it last night. You weren't able to really dominate the Brunson Cat pick and roll. Why? Because when Cat's at the 4 with Hart at the 5 offensively, defenses can now switch 2 wings or 2 guards in the Brunson Cat pick and roll. That takes Brunson's best skill away, where he likes to isolate the big in space. You can't do that because Cat doesn't have the 5 to get the switch on Brunson anymore. It takes Cat's best skill away, which is 3-point shooting, because switching a ball screen is going to take away your clean 3-point look. The lanes clog up because Hart's big is going to be in help. Sabonis, Precious, whoever the hell else was on him. That impacts Brunson, but it also impacts Cat's drives, which we've been seeing this year. Now, all the time, can't totally blame some of these drives on the poor spacing, but a lot of the time, when he's out there with, with this starting lineup, you just look at it and you're like, you got to surround this guy in space so he can get the big matched up to him. and he can get downhill effectively. And then these Cat post-ups where he ends up, he might have a small on him, but he gets doubled from the backside because Hart's spacing weak side. Cat still has to play 5 on defense through all this. That's the thing. He still, even though he still has to play the 5 on defense because Hart's not an actual center. So if it was like Hart plus Cat plus Mitch, yeah, that's a little better because while Cat's still at the 4 on offense, at least he's on the 4 now, at the 4 now on defense because Mitch is going to take the pick and roll. But these lineups where Hart's out there with Cat and no Mitch, it doesn't make sense because you're taking away all the benefits and you're adding in all the detriments. It's a starting lineup that still lacks a point of attack threat because you have your 2 best point of attack threats not on the floor. Deuce is on the bench. Shamet's on the bench. It just doesn't make sense to me that we continue to run it this way because Hart's defense hasn't been great. It's been okay. And the offense just doesn't make sense. It's a mediocre lineup. We know the data the last 2 seasons, but this season specifically, I'll read it off again. I did a couple of episodes ago. It's the 15th most used lineup, possessions-wise. And despite them using it so much, 48th percentile in net rating. So they're using a slightly below average lineup in terms of its production. One of the most in basketball. And that was the same issue under Thibs. You want to know how telling it is? I mean, this game was a perfect description. But that lineup was a -4 overall in a 16-point win. So that means every other lineup in this rotation last night, outside the Hart with the first unit lineup, was a +20 overall. Crazy. That's why I don't think the Knicks need some major trade. Like every casual Knicks fan who catches a game at a bar here and there or flips on the channel is going to, ride the Giannis narrative because that's what ESPN and all the mainstream outlets are telling you. But there are so many good lineup combinations you could get out of this team. So many. This is not football. It's not football. It's not baseball where you're forced to play with those certain guys. Basketball is different. You can play with anyone you want, depending on how the coach sees it. Like the Brunson, Deuce, Shamet, Anunoby, Robinson lineup. In this game, it gave you some good half-court offense and not half-court, some good first-half offense and defense. It gave you good minutes. It's a good lineup because Brunson can run offense. You've got 2 elite front-court defenders in OG and Mitch. 2 point-of-attack threats in Deuce and Shamet. You have 3 other shooters around Brunson. Or that, you could do that lineup with Mikal in over Shamet for all the same reasons. But Mikal's a better third shooter to have, and he can help you defend and help with Deuce at the point of attack. The good thing about Mitch without Hart plus with the starters is that you can't cross-match or pre-rotate and help off as aggressively because at least Mitch has the offensive rebounding gravity that he does. He forces guys to glue to him because he's such a threat, maybe the best offensive rebounder of all time. That's what Mitch can do when he's out there with Cat. And obviously you get the defensive stuff that helps. I like the Brunson, Deuce, Shamet, Hart, Mitch lineup. Gave you some good third quarter minutes. Again, Brunson's running offense with 2 point-of-attack threats. Hart and Mitch, they play well together, especially without Cat, since the defense is better, and they can also run their type of play on the boards, the physicality, the pace, and Brunson can handle the lack of spacing with those 2 guys, unlike Cat. You could do that lineup, again, plus Shamet in over, or Mikal in over Shamet. But what you cannot keep force-feeding to us is Hart and Cat together. That lineup doesn't work. Or the Hart plus Cat plus Mitch without Brunson. You know, a lot of these lineups just don't make sense. And Mike Brown's biggest weakness is still one of Thibs' big weaknesses. He needs to be better in his rotations. We can't continue to play the most effective rotations so little and the most mediocre rotations so much more. It's got to a point. It's well beyond that point, because I've been wondering this for a bit now. But is it front office directive? You know? Because it's the same head coach. Is it Brunson who's calling the shots here for his best friend? You know, it kind of reminds me of the whole Aaron Judge thing. Rizzo and Gallo at the time, you know? Because it's been two head coaches in a row now obsessed with force-feeding this very, very mediocre lineup on a roster that's one of the most talented in the league. Just force-feeding a lineup in a rotation that's full of great lineups out there that's just not built for sustained success in the year 2026. I just don't know how anybody else could walk away and be like, oh, yeah, that's great. It's just very difficult for me to watch Brunson continue to dominate bigs, and it was Sabonis and Precious last night, and then come away with the thought process after that possession and be like, you know what? Let's remove that advantage. Let's remove the advantage of the Brunson Cat pick and roll so he can't get the switch that he wants, and let's put Hart at the 5. So now he gets a wing. It doesn't make sense. Or sticking to half-court ball when Hart's at the 5 and Cat's at the 4. That takes away your 3 because they could switch the pick and roll. When you're in those lineups, you need to be in the full court taking those trail 3s for Cat. Getting him those trail 3s. Cat's made a living off of that type of shot. Those transition 3s as a trailer, he's made a living off them. That's what it's got to be about. It's got to be all about getting Cat more 3-point looks. He is the best shooting big of all time. This season, when Cat takes at least 6 threes, he's 39%. When he takes less than 6 threes, that drops to 33%. That's not everything, but again, it's about who you're playing him with. Last night he goes 3 for 8. You love that volume. Guess how many of those 8 attempts came with a big on him? 8. You got to get this guy with the right guys. We're going to head to a quick break, come back, and we're going to hand out our game balls. Stay with us.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
All right, welcome back to episode 982 of the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning into BD4. Knicks beat the Sacramento Kings by a score of, brace yourself, 103 to 87. 103 to 87. Jalen Brunson, got to give him the game ball from this game. Excellent performance. 28 points, 9 for 17, 4 for 8 from 3, 6 out of 7 at the foul line. 4 assists. He had a block. He was a plus 17 in the box score. 35 minutes played. With the game way too close in the fourth quarter there, he checks in and puts the damn thing to bed. You know, he scores 11 of the final 13 points for the Knicks. in the fourth quarter overall. He goes for 11 points on 4 of 4, 2 of 2 from 3, and 1 out of 1 on that tech. So just an excellent performance and an otherwise excellent season that Brunson's having. Continues to shoot the ball really well from 3. In his last 2 games, let's see, he was 6 for 12. Now he's 4 for 8. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10 for 16 from 3. No, 12 plus 8 is 20. 10 for 20. Yeah, 50% on each. 10 for his last 20 on 3s. So some would say that's good, and some would say the most important part there, the volume is good. You'll love that he's taking them. So Brunson gets his 23rd game ball of the season, obviously leads the Knicks. But Mitchell Robinson getting up there now. Now has 11 game balls. I'm handing him the game ball from off the bench because he continues to be fantastic. 7 points last night, 13 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, of course, 2 steals, a plus 25, 27 minutes. Finally being unleashed, it seems like he's being freed to play big minutes again. 27 minutes, that's good. He's said some things in his pressers that he's ready and he wants to play, and he thinks the Knicks should push him. It's good to hear. It's good to see. We'll see if he's available tonight for the second of the back-to-back. You have to think that he is going to be now, because otherwise it's like, well, why play him against Sacramento when you could use that game to sit him, with Toronto coming up next and this being the battle for the 3rd seed. But so I do think he's going to play. Should. He's been the Knicks' most consistent, most important player outside of Jalen Brunson this year. He's definitely been their most consistent outside of Brunson. I mean, the offensive rebounding, it has reached a laughable level where we don't even scoff at it anymore. If you look at the per 100s, per 36s, whatever metric you want to look at it, his offensive rebounding is off the freaking charts. Just creates second opportunities for the Knicks consistently. That's what you like about some of these lineups that you can go to. You can blend this new style that Mike Brown's trying to push with the old style and kind of get a little bit of both, with Mitch out there. And the defense, that's the important part, because that's when you really can get flexible if Mitch's defense is going to be back to where it should be. And lately it has been. I mean, he's been thriving. High coverage. He's been very switchable. He's been good in drop. Much more mobile than what you saw earlier in the year. He's just had such a positive impact on the game, and you can feel it. But yeah, you can also see it through the different lineup combos on paper. So good for Mitch. And with that said, I think we're going to wrap this thing up. Up next for your Knicks, they have the second of a back-to-back tonight in Toronto. So flew up north, and they're going to take on the Raptors. Not very confident, given what this team has become, but we'll see. The Knicks need to start showing some real signs here. You thought they could build off Philly. Uninspiring effort last night, but maybe tonight they I don't want to say bounce back because they won the freaking game. But let's get a 4th in a row here, shall we? So no trivia tonight or today. And we're just going to get right into the next show. And I'll see you by then. Appreciate it. See you soon. Hey guys, thank you for listening to BD4. Be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.